Has heard about student success coaching before? Who has met with a coach? Yes. Okay, nice. So some of you are familiar, and I love that. So what you can expect today is what student success coaching is, what it looks like, and then we're going to go over a time management activity. But first, I'd love to tell you a little bit more about what my role is as a coach. My role is to support you with clarifying your goals, setting goals, make sure that you're connected to resources on campus, but also connected to your motivations and values. What's the point of doing anything if you don't know why you're doing what you're doing? Why does what you're doing even matter, right? So a little piece of getting to know yourself, your values, and what drives you to be here as a student is also my role. During our coaching session, we talk about a lot of different areas of your life to get you reflecting on what's important to you, whether that's your current school. One of my favorites is to talk about managing your commitments. Are you only a student? Do you have friends outside of school? Do you like to go out on the weekends? Do you have hobbies? Do you have interests outside of school? Absolutely you do. So I love talking about how do we manage that? How do we balance work and life and school? What about self-care? Do you have resources and access to mental health or physical health? Or even like routines and things that keep you healthy. So those are all some of the examples that we talk about during our coaching session. And so, like I mentioned, we're going to go into a workshop into talking about time management, which in here would be effectiveness, right? This is a big one that I work on with students. And before we go into the actual exercise, I'd love to talk a little bit about executive functioning. So it's such a critical piece of being able to keep your things organized. Who here has heard of the word executive functioning? Yeah. Do you want to tell me in the back a little bit about what you know?
I know like
Tell me more.
well, or I think it's just like I don't know, just like, it's I
Yeah,
don't know the best definition.
no, you're fine. Look, we have one. Executive functioning is a mental process that enables us to plan, focus attention, remember instructions, juggle multiple tasks successfully. That actually happens in our brain. Somewhere around here, I'm not a brain scientist, but it's in your prefrontal cortex, right? We all have that ability, that process that happens chemically, neurologically. And what's super important to know is that it's a finite resource. Depending on the day, have you eaten? Have you not eaten? Right? Have you had a stressful day and you just fall down? We all have a different amount of executive functioning, as we all have very individual brain activity and the way that we tolerate life, right? So the one thing I want you to know is that executive functioning is a finite resource. Sometimes when I talk with students, I hear like, I'm going to classes, I have a job, and then I have to take care of my siblings or give them a ride. And then I'm gonna go out with my friends, and then I'm gonna go skiing, right? And then they're like, and I don't know why I have such a hard time turning things in on time. Not only are you like, only human, like our bodies physically can only do so much. So I hope that that gives you a little bit of be kind to yourself. We all have a finite resource of executive functioning. So what time management is the process of planning and organizing how to divide your time between specific activities to increase efficiency, productivity, and effectiveness. And this is a skill. This is something that we can develop and work on over time. There's different tools. And the cool thing is that you don't have to be good at it. If you find yourself saying, oh, my time management skills suck, that's okay. The thing is that we don't have to be good at it to work on it. So the first part of working with time management is identifying what are your priorities in life, right? So the first thing we want to do is prioritize, and then we'll go into organizing. So with the person next to you, and sorry, what's your name in the back?
Grayson.
Grayson.
Yeah.
Have we met before?
Yes.
Yes, we have. Can I have you come join someone, or actually, can I have the two of you in the back chat? Because I want you to pair up with the person next to you and talk about what are some of your goals for the rest of the semester, and think about the broader picture of who you are and what you enjoy doing outside of school. Friends, family, taking care of yourself, all of that matters too. So I'm gonna give you all a couple minutes to talk with the person next to you and just see what's important to you for the rest of the semester. Can I have a few volunteers to share what are your priorities this semester? What are some of your goals? Can I get folks in the back to participate? Yes, Grayson.
Primarily, I just want to do good in my classes. It's also, I play on the sports team and we're heading to the nationals this semester, so.
What sport do you play?
Water polo.
Water polo, hell yeah. Cool. Folks on this row. Yes. And your name?
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn, yes.
I think one of my goals for this semester is to like actually focus and like learn the content more and like have it stick, because I feel like sometimes again, like I don't manage my time well and I end up just doing things last minute and then I don't learn the stuff because I'm not taking the time to actually learn it. So I want to do that where I take the time to like actually focus and learn.
Yeah, and it looks like you're focusing more on the learning aspect of it rather than the outcome, which would be like the grade. That's amazing. Like you're focused on the process. Yeah, I love that. Can I get someone from this side of the room? Yes.
Regulating my sleep schedule.
Ooh. Yeah. And I mean, is that gonna have an effect on your executive functioning and your ability to prioritize? 100%, right? Somebody up here in the front. To share.
I was doing better study methods.
Okay. Tell me more.
The way I'm sitting right now, I feel like I agree with Jocelyn. Like I'm procrastinating a lot of the time, and I'm not fully like learning the content.
The material, we will talk about procrastination. I didn't go over that during the beginning, or I didn't say it out loud, but we do have something on procrastination. I hope you can take some away from that. Now this next part might be a little bit tricky because I have not done it in a group like this big before. But I want you to take the back of this page. I'll walk you through the steps. We are going to first identify and figure out what your tasks are that need to be actually organized, right? So now we've identified the big picture. What are the things that are important? And now we're going to strategize. How are we gonna make them happen? So that means we had 30 people because I printed 30 pages. So I want you to turn the page around. I don't want you to use the grid quite yet. We're not quite ready for that part. And here we go. Okay, perfect. So now we're gonna go into a time management exercise into the weekly schedule. Who has heard of static versus flexible tasks? Yes, tell me, what do you know here?
Oh, it's just something my therapist mentioned, like, what's visualize.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot, so she was like, well, what's the difference between static and flexible? We talked about it very briefly, so I don't know that much.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yes.
Not sure, but I'd assume static would just be like the class you have every week, and flexible would maybe be a part-time shift of work that could get flipped around or hanging out with friends or something.
Yeah, those are really great examples. And remind me your name?
Lucas.
Lucas, yeah, those are wonderful examples. So static responsibilities that occur on a regular basis at the same time each week. These are the things you can expect to happen, right? So some examples might be classes, work, if you're part of any church or service organization, right? Sports, right? Grayson, you have a certain time that you practice, right? Church, community responsibilities, all of those things that you know need to happen and are going to happen. I already gave you flexible responsibilities. So those are things that occur weekly, but don't have a set time or place. Just like you mentioned, examples, homework, exercise. Homework, it ultimately does have a deadline for it, but during the week, it's flexible. Exercise, spending time with friends and family, chores, I need to do my laundry, self-care, all of those things. So on the back of that sheet, I want you to first identify what are your classes, what are your tasks that you need to do. So I'm going to give you all like 2 minutes to do that and just write that out on your own. When you have identified your static responsibilities, I also want you to, on a separate list, make a list of what your flexible responsibilities are. And those can go into like your goals, right? Even sleep is a flexible responsibility. So put that down as well. That I want you to do is just to, right, with the flexible things, they're all important, right? We all want them to get done, but I want you to now narrow that down. What is your top priority? So I want you to list, like, depending on how many you have, you're gonna start at number 1, and that's gonna be the one that you are for sure you need to do. On your flexible one. So go, depending on how many you've written down, go from top to next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because they might not all fit in one day or 1 week. Was anyone surprised by the things you wrote down? Yes, tell me.
So I teach dance on the side,
Mhm.
and a lot of times we turn to the sidelines because I forget that there should be things outside of those working hours, but then I feel bad because there's like these kids' parents paying for it, and I know
Right,
it sometimes, and I feel like that. Is a lot higher on my list than I think about it.
Yeah, so like on a daily basis, you might not think about it as much, but now that you've had time to reflect, you're like, yeah, this is something I need to prioritize. So you maybe want to prioritize, right? Yeah. Who else? What was anybody else surprised by what you wrote down? Or maybe what you didn't write down? Yes, tell me.
I have like when I go to correspondence, like emails, texts, messages, like things that I just feel like when I think about them, it really stresses me out to stay on top of it. So I feel that like
Yes, yeah, so it's like, and sometimes, oh gosh, we get bombarded left and right. I actually just went on a trip over the weekend. And I didn't have my phone. I just turned it off. And then when I came back and turned it on, I was like, I felt that like overload just in my body of I have Instagram, I have this person texting me, and then I have work, just like, oh my gosh, that's so overwhelming. Also, not great for executive functioning. Thanks y'all for sharing. So now I want you to turn your page around on the other side. I realized maybe I should have had you put down your priority lists on the card, so bear with me. So on this last little bit, I want you to fill out your schedule. We're not gonna have time to do the whole week, so just do like Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, thank you. Good to meet you. Yeah. So you're gonna take the list that you made from step 1 and fill out your weekly schedule, right? So those are the static things, those things are not gonna change. On a day like this, maybe, things got shifted around a bit, but I want you to just pick 2 days to write down your static tasks. When you have completed your static ones, we are going to, well, hopefully that helps us to see what free time do you actually have in those 2 days. Once you've figured out what free time you have, you're gonna take the list you made in step 3. And again, we're only doing 2 days, so not all of them might fit. But I want you to take your list that you made in your step 3 where you prioritize your flexible tasks. And you're gonna start putting them in from the highest priority to the lowest priority into those spaces where you have some flexible time. The other thing I want you to consider is what's actually realistic. Take into account, are you commuting? Right, that's taking up your time. If you, for example, are not a morning person, maybe don't put doing your homework at like 7 AM. Right? So just take that into consideration as you're filling out your flexible tasks. And once you have completed that, I want to see pencils down so I know that we're ready for the next step. I'm gonna open it up to the group. What was it like for you to fill this out? How do you feel afterwards? What was that like for you? Please, everyone volunteer all at once.
It's nice to see it on paper.
What, one more time?
It's nice to see it on paper. I think a
Uh-huh.
lot of times I feel like I'm flying by the seat of my pants and I'm like, oh shit, I have that. Oh, I need to go to that.
Yeah.
Like, and so they're like having the static stuff down
Mm-hmm.
and then being able to put in the flexible stuff feels
Right.
visually pleasing, so.
Yeah, the having the visual, sometimes we might not like see it all the time, but in writing things down, there's definitely a connection between writing things down and being able to remember them. Yes, in the back.
I just recently read a book called The Now Habit by Neil Fiore, PhD.
Mhm.
And it was how to teach yourself to unprocrastinate. And it actually taught me a lot of this, it's set up to be an actual program because he does seminars to help people not be able to procrastinate anymore. And it was a lot like that, and it was a lot like that for me. It was, you schedule what you do, what you actually accomplish, and then like what you procrastinate, and then you prioritize. It's exactly what you're teaching in this class. And so it was good.
And I don't have a PhD.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for sharing that and sharing that resource. We can remind me the name of the book you shared?
It was called The Now Habit. And it's Neil Fiore, PhD.
I'm always looking for recommendations.
And it was really good for me because like I have a TDI.
Mhm.
So I procrastinated, I don't know if it's intentional or not. And it helped me get my life in order a little bit because then I had to realize, well, the reason I do it may be because of a head injury, but if I do this and this way, then I don't have enough or as many excuses as I did to forget.
Right, yeah,
So
so you have more tools under your belt and
Yeah.
ways to manage and cope. I love that.
More extensive toolbox for sure.
Yes. And actually, that's a really great segue unless somebody else has something they want to share. Raise your hand now. Into procrastination. So I have a video for us to watch. Try to make sure it works. So, this is a video I love to play during our coaching sessions as we're talking about procrastination, as we're talking about time management. This is a big one that gets in the way of actually following through with what you've written down. So I hope that we can, one, talk about it, but also that you take away some ways to overcome procrastination so that you can follow through with what you want to do. So let me push play.
Bias,
Mhm.
like the graph that you need, cause it does feel like that.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like, oh yeah, this is a quick reward vice, the exam that's a week from now, I can ignore it.
Yeah, right. The closer you get to it, of like, oh, right. And the video talks about externally imposed deadlines. Those are like deadlines that are put on us. The closer we get to it, yeah, we're gonna get that done. Who else took some takeaways from that video? What about the part when it talks about like ways to do less procrastination? Yeah, Paul.
I've done the Pomodoro method before. It's really helpful,
Mhm.
because I used to be like, I'm gonna study for like 4 hours and that never happened, so,
Right.
making it manageable.
Yeah, so doing instead of seeing like, oh my god, I'm gonna use all of these 4 hours to do it, just 25 minutes at a time, it's gonna add up. In fact, in the Pomodoro technique, if you're interested in trying it out, they recommend that you stop after you've done it 4 times in a row and then take a really like 35 to 45 minute break. And then you can start it up again. Bye, Yelma. Anything that has worked for you to overcome procrastination? Yeah.
I find like checklists are really rewarding because the act of like checking something off. Gives that like little time spike for me. So it's like a super small task. Like, I don't know, picking up 3 items of shirts that are on the floor or something. A little check mark is like a.
Yeah, like that small reward you can give yourself by doing something. Doing action creates motivation instead of waiting for motivation to come. Here and then over to you.
Me?
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of on that line, I've actually. This is what I used to do finals week, I'm not sure if it's, I mean, I kind of think one is really like needs a panic to do things.
Mhm.
But I use like sticky notes and I put every task I need to do out on my desk. And then every task that I get done, I can like throw the sticky note away. And for some reason, like the visual of like the actual sticky note field getting smaller is kind of.
Yeah, there's something, it sounds like visual representation and then like throwing that thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. And then you have the thought, yeah.
What helps for me is the kind of music I listen to, so I'm like different like music genres I listen for every subject, for some reason it works for me, but like listening to bebop or fast jazz or Mario Kart music really helps get my brain kind of going.
And then it depends on what world you're playing on. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, so like, yeah, you have another
I
one.
feel like working in groups too, like helps motivate me. I also plan on probably doing like CTHS study groups. I like your finals, maybe, or like 2 finals. So I feel like that definitely helps motivate each other.
Yeah, keeping each other accountable, accountability buddies, even if you're not doing the same subject, or maybe you are, but at least you're all doing a common thing and doing it together. Yeah, I love that. Thank you for that example. Thanks everybody for sharing. That was really great. And I hope that you can kind of think about what works for you and maybe somebody has shared something that you want to try. So here are some tools. I love the ones that you all provided. I think these are kind of boring compared. So a planner with your daily, weekly, monthly to-do list. We did number 2, a calendar with your scheduled items and free times blocked out. The 7-8-9 rule, which is 7 hours for personal, free self-care, 7 to 8 hours for sleep, and 8 to 9 hours for study and work. I honestly, great. I need more than 8 hours of sleep. I need like 10. Like I just do. And also the light starts to get darker earlier. I just want to be in bed and I don't care. So yeah. Who has heard of reverse calendaring? Or a reverse to-do list? It's basically when you say you are, so finals are coming up. I've heard it, right? A couple times. It's kind of on the horizon. So what you would do is write down when your final is, and then work backwards into when are you going to study? Do you need to check in with a tutor? Do you need to go to the writing center? And so you would calendar it out, but backwards to get to your goal. So sometimes we usually think about just the here and now, but it just expands your ability to be able to plan ahead in that way. Our brains are funky. And we already talked about what some of your tools are. Last little quote, when you know what you're doing, when you're doing it, it alleviates your stress and opens your mind to focus on other things. I'm gonna click through that one. And now I'm just procrastinating by playing a procrastination video. So thank you for participating in that. That's about all I have for our time management workshop. One last thing I want to share is how to get in touch with a student success coach. So if you want to continue to work on this, We can also be your accountability buddies. I love using the time during our coaching sessions just to go. Sometimes it's just strategic time. Maybe you already know what you want to work on, and we can just use our time together to do that. So our sessions are 30 to 45 minutes. We don't have an office, so we meet you where you are. I usually am in the Union or in Gardner Commons. We just meet in a public space. Zoom or phone calls also are great. Anyone can meet with us. Transfer students, please come meet with us. And you can meet with us as little or as much as you want. So totally up to you. I work with students who meet with me once a semester or once a month or every other week or weekly. So it just depends on what you think you need. I might suggest also how often. Please scan this QR code, pull your phones out, scan this QR code. That's how you can schedule with us. I can also, I don't know, what would be a good way to send it out to this listserv?
We have a sign-up sheet, so anything you want to share, I'll send it.
Okay, would it be helpful? Maybe not the whole thing, but I'll just send you this page.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anybody have questions? Cool, thank you guys. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.